morning, Rabotai. Welcome to breakfast in the class. We have an abbreviated breakfast in the class today, as I'm going to be heading out a little bit earlier today for a specific reason. So I just wanted to share with you today's breakfast in the class in honor of their 11th anniversary, dedicated to his wife Claire Lozia, her spouse Judah, and as well dedicated loving memory of Jack Feldman, Yaakov Rafael Ben Rose, sponsored by Stephen and Gary Feldman. The learning for this entire week is dedicated by the Torah Center Diamond donors, Stanley Carey, in honor of his wife, children, and grandchildren. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be zocheh to see a refuah shema filiyahu shemu mazal fortuneh, and for continued health for Chana Bat Simafega. My friends, let's continue. The pasuk tells us, Vayeshev Yaakov, and Yaakov dwelled. He settled. And Rashi says, what does it mean, Vayeshev Yaakov? Bikesh Yaakov leshev b'shalva. Yaakov wanted to dwell in peace. He wanted to take it easy. He wanted to relax. And Rashi says in an ominous tone, Miyad kafza alav rogzol shel Yosef. Immediately, the fury of Joseph, the story of Yosef HaSadiq and all of his brothers, the fighting, the saga leading Yosef to get sold, to be brought down to Egypt, and everything that would follow along with it, with the brothers and the food and the famine, everything else came after that point. So what's interesting is exactly what does the Gemara, what does this Rashi trying to tell us? He quotes Chazal, where Chazal say, two different versions. One version is Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, another version is Amar HaSatan, but in either scenario, the concept is the midah of the Satan says before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lo dayan l'sadikim. Is it not enough for the righteous that they inherit the world to come, but they want to inherit this world too? That's what they aim. They want to take everything, this world and the next. They can't have it. Miyad kafza alav rogzo shel Yosef. Immediately, the fury of Yosef was cast upon Yaakov. So the Chachamim ask, what does this mean? Doesn't the Torah tell us in many places that when a person does the right thing, that if a person does the right thing, that what happens? They actually are rewarded. That's what we learn. So if that's the case, that they are rewarded for the good things, that they do have the reins in their time, that they do get all the beautiful berachot of this world. So why is the pasuk telling us that a tzaddik who wants to relax, who wants to take it easy, is someone that is immediately shown and told otherwise? So Al Chavim give a very interesting explanation over here. They explain that it's not that Yaakov Avinu wanted Mai Tais, on the beach. That's not Yaakov's style. It's not that he wanted to retire into a gated community with a swimming pool with separate swimming hours. That was not Yaakov's intention of Leshev B'Shalva. Yaakov's intention was, listen, I've suffered enough within my search and quest for spirituality. I want to look to be spiritual. I want to go to Minyan. I want to study in yeshiva. I want to give tzedakah. I want to do all the good things that a good person wants to do. But I want to do them from a place of relaxation. I don't want to be in a moment or in a situation of high stress. It's too much. I can't do it. It's not fair. And speaking to that, Yaakov says, let me just enjoy HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not this world for the sake of enjoying this world. I'll give you an example of this. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was one of the wealthiest people to ever live. The Gemara tells us that there were two people of extreme wealth in his generation. And who were they? Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, himself. And as well was Antoninus, the Roman Caesar. Rabbi Yehuda and Antoninus were friends, and these two people were fabulously wealthy. And what's interesting is that our rabbis tell us that at the end of his life, Rabbi Yehuda was able to say that he did not enjoy from this world even like the enjoyment of a finger. He had no portion, he had nothing in this world, there was nothing he could point to and say, I enjoyed that. So what was the wealth of Rabbi Yehuda used for? The answer is, and it's interesting because the Gemara tells us that how wealthy was Rabbi Yehuda and Antoninus. Me'olam lo paska, there was never a time when they did not have radishes, and listing 2 items that in the calendar year are scarce, out of season. So the Gemara says that there was never a time that they didn't have this one and this one. But to think about this, it sounds like you're talking about the greatest delicacies, and yet on the other hand, we hear Rabbi Yehuda saying that he never enjoyed this world at all. He never took any enjoyment from it. And the answer is, that's true. The tznon of Rabbi Yehuda, the delicacies of his table, what were they for? They were for Hachnasat Orchim. That's what they existed for. They existed to be able to make other people feel welcome, happy, satiated, full, pampered at his table. But for himself, Rabbi Yehuda was not all that into this. I remember when I was a young man studying Kollel, I noticed my rabbi's meal, Rav Berkowitz. I noticed that every single day he brought the same thing. He brought a peanut butter sandwich cut diagonally. He brought a small Tupperware with Israeli salad in it. He had 1 banana. He had a flask of hot water, and he had a toothbrush for after he finished eating, so he could brush his teeth. So he would not be something that would bother people that his teeth weren't clean after he ate. He was a very refined person. Anyway, one day I went to him and I was like, Rebbe, I don't understand. Why are you eating the same lunch every single day for years? Have something else. Diversify. Have a tuna fish sandwich. And he said to me in all simplicity, he said, I've worked out what my body needs. This is what my body needs. Why would I have something else? He lives in this world, for one reason, to be able to serve Hashem. Are there beautiful things in the world? Yes. Does he enjoy them? Yes. But the idea that you chase a different food every day, I can't have tuna fish today, I had it yesterday. Oh no, I'm sick of this lunch or breakfast or dinner. You know why? I've already been to this steakhouse 3 times. Think about how spoiled that is. So Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says, that even though I had everything, for me it was never about those things. And that's really what Yaakov Avinu was also saying over here. Yaakov Avinu was saying, I led a life that was very difficult. And I've done everything I can. Im Lavan garti, v'tayag mitzvot shamati. I lived with Lavan. I kept all the mitzvot. I ran away from my brother. I feel like it's time. I've suffered enough. I want to retire. And what do I want to do when I retire? I don't need, like Juan Soto, a suite in the stadium. You know what I need? I need a Bet Midrash. I need a Shtender. I need a Gemara. That's what I want. I know a lot of people that they can't wait to retire. And what do they want to do when they retire? Nothing crazy. They're not traveling to the Maldives. What do they want when they retire? They just want to sit and learn. That was their whole life they wanted to do that. They have Parnassah questions, so they have to deal with the Parnassah. But once they've solved for the Parnassah part of the equation, Khalas, I'm done. Sign me up. I want to move to Israel. I want to sit and learn. So my friends, that was what Yaakov was asking for. Bikesh Yaakov leshev b'shava. What do you mean leshev? We always think to ourselves it means to settle. But I think to myself that for Yaakov, leshev is the root word of yeshiva. He wanted to go to yeshiva. He wanted to sit and learn. My friends, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Yaakov, if that's what Yaakov is asking for, then God's answer is even more illuminating. It's not that you get Olam Haba, you can't also have Olam Hazeh. You got Gan Eden, you can't get the Ferrari. You got Gan Eden, you can't get your own private island. My friends, what God is saying to Yaakov Avinu is, Tzadikim, you want Olam Haba, you can't have Olam Hazeh. It can't be that in the service of Olam Haba, you got Olam Hazeh. It can't be that a person has everything easy in this world, and then his spiritual service is something that he just dials in because it's easy for him. That is not the currency of growth. Growth happens when something is difficult. Growth happens when a person faces adversity. The vast majority of our trajectory of growth in this world, in any area, happens when we're struggling, when we're fighting, when something terrible is happening to us, and we're rising above, and we are revealing elements and parts of our character that we've never even knew existed. My friends, that is what God was saying. Miyad kafetza alav rogzo shel Yosef. You don't have Esav. You don't have Lavan. You don't want to be bothered from the outside world. Hashem is saying to Yaakov, you could be bothered from the inside world, from in your own house. You don't need external enemies. You know, these messages, these words, I always feel ring loud and clear. You know, all the time we're worrying about this one and about that one and the other thing. But ultimately, there is no such thing as a human being without challenges. And because that's the case, the challenges are going to come from somewhere. Wow, praiseworthy is someone that his problem is only money. Praiseworthy is someone that his problem is only someone outside his house. And the problems have not entered into his children, into his kids, into his family. You know, you could have so much challenges in a person's home that are only to do with their children, with their brothers, with their parents. They don't have an enemy in the world. They don't have a problem in the world. But when your home is flawed, there's nowhere to come home to. There's nowhere to escape from the problem. Miyad kafetza alav rogzo shel Yosef. So when we experience a difficult time, when we experience a challenge, a Jew should look at that challenge and say, I see you, I understand you, I know why you're here, and I'm not going to let you beat me. In what way am I going to grow because of you? And when a person has that mindset, then they are not discouraged by challenges. They understand that God, in sending you those challenges, is not ignoring you. It's not that He's not seeing you. Perhaps when we see a challenge sent from God, it's not that God forgot me or is ignoring me, but the opposite. God is paying even closer attention to me. He's looking at me so closely. He sees a version of me that I don't even see. And God is trying to bring that out. And that can happen either by pushing yourself and bringing yourself your own difficulties, by chasing sleep away from your eyes, in staying up extra time to learn, working your brain to the max to take on a shi'ur that's above your level. We could invite challenges that are happy challenges, or we could get challenges that are more difficult. But challenges, there will always be. And when we think of it that way, we're able to deal in a much better way. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.